This is episode 95 of the Out of the Minds podcast. I'm Sean Oakley.
And I'm Sam Cooper, and we're back to business as usual.
Due to some unforeseen circumstances, I was unable to make Club Night this week, so we don't have a game from Club Night. So Sam and I played a quick game on TTS last night. So yeah, it's me versus him. I did say we'd get a U game in this week, so...
Yeah, you didn't lie. Here we are.
And we have some Separatists versus Separatists. Because I need a break from playing my boy list. So I am playing the list, sort of the list I was talking about last time, which is my Sith Taker Open list, and I've tweaked it slightly. I say I've tweaked it slightly. I've looked at what the people who were doing better than me with it were flying and copied them. So I've got Django in the fire spray, Grievous, Dirge and a bombardment drone, and when I took it to STO, I had like Dooku crew on the fire spray. I had Siege Coruscant 404, not the bombardment drone, and I had like Dirge with Hondo and stuff. And I didn't get the use out of Hondo. Dooku, okay, he came in useful a couple of times, but not enough to warrant the price jump over Savage, where you can use it in other places. And I barely fired the APT on 404, and if you're not firing the APT, why are you bringing him?
For a 4-dice gun at range 1 that crits yourself.
I mean, yeah, but...
That's about it.
It's that critting yourself, isn't it?
Yeah.
But what have you brought, Sam?
So I am experimenting with my swarm, because it was suggested to me that maybe... Because interestingly enough, so I can actually share the details. I'm currently 7 and 5 with my full 8-ship droid swarm, but I've been on a loss streak, and I was basically talking about it with Chris, and he was suggesting like, well, maybe going like, because the bomber 32C is not really pulling his weight. He doesn't really do a whole lot because he wants to target log, not calculate, and everyone else wants to calculate. So maybe trading him and a vulture droid out for something else, so you still get the Seer Swarm, but you also get a threat. And so I've taken out 32C and one of the Howard Child prototypes, put in General Grievous, and then given the 2 droidy vultures independent calculations. So now there's no more calculate sharing, but there's about roughly the same amount of calculates on the board. To begin with. And so, yeah, we've got Captain Seer with Kraken and Impervium, General Grievous with Outmaneuver, Impervium, and Solar Swan, the Iron Assembler with Shells, Munitions Failsafe, Indicalc, and Grappling Struts, a Howard Char with Shells, Indicalc, and Grappling Struts, and 3 Kelrodo Eye holdouts with Crackshot and Energy Shells.
The Coreldos don't have network, do they?
No, they do not. They have Built for Organics.
That's it, yeah. Okay. So we rolled off 4 objectives, and we're playing Chance. So nice, easy objective-wise. There's one in the middle.
Yeah, and we basically made like an X out of our rocks.
Because,
like, literally, my thought with the first rock I got to place was, okay, I just place it roughly range 1 of the center. I have 2 guys with struts who can go land there if I needed to, and then the rest of the rest of my rock placements were basically far away.
And mine was the same because I wanted one near the centre, so I put it on my side. I wanted it at a distance that I was hoping... Cause I was assuming you were going to go and land something on the rock opposite. Yeah. It's like, I'm going to go and sit the bombardment drone there, and I'll try and stick it so he's not off the front of the rock, so I still get obstructed shots, and far enough back that we're not range one-ing at each other. Or...
speaking of which... because we both have people with struts that want to go there. I think we both made a mistake here. The center zone is range 2. Why are we sticking so close?
Well,
like, I mean, you have a bomb. I get like you have a prox mine on your bombardment drone, but my sit on rock place doesn't need to be close in the slightest.
Well, my thoughts were, I think the front of the rock is sort of 3/4 of a range band. Maybe half a range, and I was going to very much try and just get on the back side of the rock. But yeah, no, we probably could have come down a bit further.
Like, literally, I think both of us, our plan would have achieved the exact same thing, maybe been a little bit better, if the rocks were slightly further back, so it didn't, like, encourage us to go fully to the center.
Yeah.
Because we don't need to.
And then I did the same issue and stuck them in the corners. Because my thinking there is I want space to maneuver with Grievous and Dirge. I want to be able to boost and barrel. Django wants to be able to boost. But I also want to narrow the opportunities for you to stick more than one droid on one rock close to each other.
Yeah.
And admittedly, at that point, I forgot until we got into the game that the Corollos don't have struts.
Yeah. So when I'd got my center rock, I was like, cool, that's where they're both going. Dunzo.
But
yeah, deployment. I believe I'm first player for the deployment.
No, I'm first player for the deployment.
You are. Okay. There we go. I went off the overlay and I was wrong.
Oh, we can all the overlay because we're on because we're on TTS. I just go off the top of the board.
Yeah. So it's basically my entire list, but Grievous goes down first, and I put the Iron Assembler and the Howard Charl directly opposite the rock that I placed in the center, directly next to each other, pretty much telegraphing that that's where I want them to go and land. And then the Corrodos, I set them up in like a bit of like basically like a wedge formation. I put one slightly in front, and then the other two slightly behind, because with the plan to stick the two droid, like the true AI vultures, the Indicalcs, onto the rock, I don't need to have a great big wad of vultures, because no one can share anyway. So I was like, okay, well, let's just try and aim down the center, aim down the gap between these two rocks and see where we end up, because I have no idea where you're deploying. And if you deploy opposite me, great. If you don't, fine, we can trundle forwards and turn. And I put Captain Sear to the right of my vulture droids, with the idea being he can either bank or turn in and just come in behind the vultures.
Yeah. So I deploy the bombardment drone below the center rock. He's going to take 2 turns to go and land on it.
Yep, pretty much. And then I put General Grievous very far left, bottom left corner, and basically said, "Here's a dude. The rest of my list is over there. Take your pick."
Yeah. So I stick Grievous just to the right of the rock in the bottom 2 and 2 of my right. Sort of not quite opposite Grievous, but on the same side of the board, thinking, okay, we can Grievous off. No one's getting rerolls and outmaneuvers there, and that's fine. But I'm going to go quite fast and make you commit to the majority of your droids to something, and then try and pounce on it. So I want to keep him close enough that he can cut in towards the centre if I need to.
Yeah.
And obviously, actually, no, because my Grievous went down first. And then your Grievous went down. And so because you put your Grievous there, I then put Dirge opposite him.
Yeah.
Because I know that kind of forces you into either going slow or turning away.
See, the interesting thing here is, already at this point I was thinking, I can't fully turn away, because when we have Grievouses facing off, the Grievous that's chasing the other Grievous is in his happy spot.
I get you can't like fully turn away, but neither can you 3-4 straight in.
Yeah.
Because you know that you can just 5 straight boost proton cannon. Happy days. And then Django goes on the left-hand side, just to the left of the left-hand rock. He's going to do the same thing, jump up the board edge, see where the droids go. He can carry on up that board edge and round the back if he needs to. If they jump on Django, he runs away, and you try and get Grievous and Dirge in behind, and so on and so forth. Or vice versa. And that was game plan. So, let's jump into it, shall we?
Yeah, because my game plan is pretty straightforward. Grievous is doing a 1 bank to the right, and we'll see what happens. Because, like, if you commit 5 straight, then cool, I've got options. But if you decide that, you know what, I reckon Sam's turning away, let's already commit to going up towards the centre, then I can react.
Yeah.
And the droids, they're all just going forwards, and Captain Sear is banking in behind them. Very simple.
So, we roll off, and you are first player for turn 1.
Yeah, all the droids doing I believe that is a 2 or 3 straight?
That's a 3. They're all 3s.
3 straight, and they all calculate. Captain Sear does a 1 bank to the left and calculates.
The bombardment drone does a 2 straight and calculates.
Captain Sear does, and General Grievous does a 1 bank and focuses.
My Grievous does do a 5 straight, because I felt it's fast enough to give me both options of chasing after Grievous or cutting into the centre on the next turn. I did think about boosting here, but I kind of felt the boost might put me into Grievous, and I don't really want to trade range 3 when I don't have to.
Yeah, and I think if you boost, you'll be focusing, right? So then you're stressing Grievous pretty early on.
Yeah.
For not a great deal of... yes, trading range 3 in arc shots. The dice gods will decide, right?
Yeah. But so yeah, he just takes a focus. Dirge does a 5 straight.
I thought you might boost.
No, it's interesting because I looked at this when we were playing and I didn't think the bullseye was quite there. And actually, looking at it from this view,
I think you're right.
I think I'm right, but I think a boost would probably be worth it because he's that further towards the board edge. And they've got slightly better blues than the Belbelub, namely a 1 bank if you need it. I think a boost actually might have been worth the call.
Yeah, I think it's close. I don't think you get bullseye, but I think you get arc.
Yeah,
I reckon the bullseye will slide just behind it, and then Django.
Django does a full straight, and I opt to boost in here because I think I can. Yeah. I was looking at it. I think I can just sneak something at range 3, and I don't think I take more than 2 shots back. And if I do, I think one of them's obstructed. And he, go to shooting. He does have 1 droid at range 3. So he shoots that, rolls 3 hits.
I roll focus, evade, blank, and I spend my calculate for 2 evades, and I take a damage on the Howard Charles. I shoot back, and I roll focus crit.
And I roll focus, evade, blank. And that is turn 1.
So now that Django's there, you've basically decided my next turn for me.
So interestingly, I make a mistake this turn.
Yeah, I was like, okay, if Django commits to the center, he's basically committing suicide, and if he goes away, I'll still have shots. Yes, I'm chasing a fast rate of a bomber, but I've still got decent shots. Was my thought here. And Grievous, can't bank away, so we trying to cut in behind you because either you think I'm gonna run up my board edge, in which case you'll go fast, and I'll probably just with a 3 bank to the left, just get in behind you and then aim for your bombardment drone. Or if you go slightly slow or you bank to the left or something, then I'm at least in a decent spot. And if I'm facing off against Grievous, then I think that's fine.
Yeah. So I do try and go fast on your Grievous, sort of, which you'll see in a minute. Although I leave it open with Dirge because I think I do a 3 bank. The big mistake here was Django, because I'm left with 3 choices. I can do a slow straight manoeuvre straight towards the swarm and try and kill things. I can turn into the centre of the board and hope that I end up with something in the front and back arc and double tap. Or I can hard turn to the left, go around the back of the asteroid and shoot out the back.
Right.
And my initial gut thing to do was a 2 hard to the left. Okay?
That's what I thought you would do.
It's interesting you say that, because I think if I'd done that, I would have got away scot-free.
Not scot-free. I mean, the boost would have helped, but...
I think a 2 hard boost would have got me out of every single one of your arcs.
Absolutely. But I was thinking, if either he commits or he doesn't. If he doesn't, I'm in no worse position than I was before, and I can just shoot the bombardment drone. With 1 or 2 of the shots.
Apart from the fact I can shoot out the back as well, though.
Yeah, but the fire spray was going to shoot me no matter what.
Yeah. The problem I had is...
I cannot stop you 2 harding away.
Yeah. The issue I had is I forgot. It was up until literally just after we'd set dials and rolled off, and then I was looking, and I think you'll see me go and hover in a minute. I forgot that the Coreldos don't have struts.
Right.
So what stopped me 2 harding was, what happens if we just hard turn onto that debris? No way does a hard turn. No way does a hard turn boost get me out of arc, and all I'm doing is presenting a flank to you when I'm not. I wouldn't be shooting. Whereas
yes, that is true. If my strutless vultures could land on that debris, too hard would be a pretty silly move. Unfortunately.
I mean, you can't blame me. You
Yeah,
can't blame me
yeah,
for
yeah.
forgetting that they don't have struts because they're vultures.
Yeah.
And also, the manoeuvre that you do, I wouldn't expect you to do because normally it's bloody red.
2 banks are white normally.
You do a 3 with blue.
Oh yeah, 3 to the blue. But oh, the colours are wrong on the right. That's what's confusing me. It's not the Howard Child who's taking damage. It's Kelroda who's taking damage.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay. I may have not changed the colours around. That's fine. They're all.
That's because we were like, I was like, yeah, 3 banks are red, and I was like, wait, no, because you didn't. It's not the Howard Child you shot. It's a Kelroda who's taking damage.
Okay, so the colours on the overlay might be wrong, but they're all worth 2 points, so it doesn't.
Yeah, they're all worth 2 points. Okay.
But yeah, that was my. I wasn't expecting you to be able to get that far. So what I've done is I've dialed a 3 bank in to the right because I wasn't expecting you to be able to get that far down a barrel roll. And then hopefully, if you did come forward, you'd go slow enough that I scoot past.
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking, a 1 hard in even direction, I think also works for you.
Yeah. I think the correct call was a 2 hard to the left.
Yeah.
Because the 2 hard left, boost if I need it, and then a 1 hard boost on the next turn.
Yeah.
I also drop a proton bomb, which just forces you to go away.
Yeah.
So
yeah, like I said, if that's the situation that happens, then the next time I'm just like, all right, Django's out for 2 turns. Let's kill this bombardment drone and turn on Grievous. Would have been my.
But I'm not sure he is out for 2 turns though. Because
2 hard boost, yeah, you're out for a turn at least.
Let's see if I need to boost. But you're 2 hard, you shoot out the back, and then you 1 hard boost round, and you're all right, maybe not shooting that turn, but maybe shooting that turn, depending on where the Belbelubs are.
I mean, we'll see. Let's go. Like at least in my mind, if you 2 harded, I don't need to worry. I'm getting a shot, but Django's going to shoot me no matter what. Like that. Like whatever you do, Django is going to shoot something. So it's sort of like, at least to me, that's just happening.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh well, I don't need to worry about him. He can drop a bomb. That's fine. I'm not going anywhere near him. And dropping the bomb means he's probably not going to like massively turn around. Going around the debris, probably chasing Captain Sear.
But we roll off, and I'm first player. But it's still your bonds.
Yeah, so I do a 3 bank to the right with the one of the Kelrodos, and I barrel to the left, and I link into a focus. And then the other Kelrodos and the Howard Charles all do a 2 bank. The Kelrodos calculate, and the Howard Charles double calculates, and the Iron Assembler does a 2 bank to the right, lands on the center rock, and double calculates.
Yeah, see, I think here, 2 hard, a boost away.
Yeah, you'd get out, absolutely.
Yeah. And I have a range 1 on pink, and then a 1 hard boost round the debris the next turn.
Yeah, so then I've got a turn you probably shooting Captain Sear, maybe, but that's about it.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not shooting the droid swarm, but the only thing your droid swarm can turn on is my bombardment drone.
Yeah, and then next turn we go for the 2 at the bottom of the map.
Well, then you've got them and Django to worry about, who can initiative kill all your droids.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So,
but like you've probably killed 1 droid. I've killed the bombardment drone, and I get 2 points for that being the only one in the zone.
What, this turn?
No, not this turn. In this theoretical turn we are doing, where you did a 2 hard. Next, you maybe kill a droid, maybe you don't.
So the turn after, when you turn on the bombardment, you wouldn't be the only one in the center because I would have turned Grievous and Dirge in by that point.
Well, let's get where they go first. Like the theoretical place we're going to is sort of meaningless at this point.
Yeah.
Because at least to me, I thought you'd turn away, but I was like, well, let's see if you don't.
There is
Captain Sear does a 2 straight and focuses.
Bombardment 2 straights onto the rock and double calculates. 5 straight from Grievous. And mistake number 2 for this round. I focus into a boost. Which means I'm going over the rock the next turn. I could maybe bank away, but
you'd have to 1 hard.
Going over the rock and being in the back of you is probably the better call. But maybe what I should have done was barrel rolled into a focus in front of the rock, and because I think there'd definitely be space to 1 hard in towards the droids. But if there wasn't and if there was more space than I thought, then a 2 bank to clear the stress.
Yeah.
I was just worried about where your Grievous was going because I didn't want him to come in and start outmaneuvering him. But hey.
But my Grievous goes for a 3 bank to the left. I clip the back of your Grievous, and I take a red focus. Because I figured Dirge is probably going to be in front of me.
And I don't know there. A barrel roll left. Maybe I'm not in arc at the moment, but I think you could focus boost range 1 into the back of him.
Yeah, like it's hard to say because we don't know exactly where my Grievous would end.
Yeah, I still think it's. I don't know.
I don't think it's better. I think it's like you were hedging that I was going to go that way, and then Dirge is hedging that I don't go that way.
Yeah. Or maybe what I should have done was boosted straight, because then the 2 bank doesn't put me over a rock.
Yeah.
But hey. And Dirge does a 3 bank. I focus into a barrel roll to attempt to line up the bullseye. And
it doesn't quite.
Django does his 3 bank, bumps into blue, and takes a red focus because I'm sat range 1 of mini droids.
Yeah, but it doesn't go that badly for you, let's be real here.
I mean, that's dice, though, let's be fair. So, Django range 1's into white. I roll 1 hit and 3 focuses. I spend my focus.
3, and this is my undamaged Tower Charl. I roll 2 blanks, so I die.
Yeah, no bullseye for Dirge, so just the range 2 into Grievous. I roll focus, and I opt not to spend because I think realistically Grievous probably shoots me back.
Yeah, I mean, I think you spent here because I was surprised when you didn't spend it because I was like maybe you forced me to spend my token. The last thing, I'm bleeding ships. The last thing I need is Grievous losing shields. And does Dirge really care about getting shot?
No, probably not.
And you've got elusive.
And I've got elusive, which I'm pretty sure I forget every single time.
Yeah, you do. I looked over, and was like, oh, he's got elusive, and those double blanks he just rolled. Wow.
Fair. So yeah,
I roll hit crit blank.
I roll blank focus, blank evade, sorry, forget to elusive, take a shield. I also forget to notorious so many times.
Yeah.
Bombardment drone goes into...
I believe you went into my damaged Tower Charl.
I think so.
No, the damaged Kel Rodo.
Damaged blue.
Yeah, you've killed the basically you've killed the wrong ship on the overlay.
Yeah.
Essentially, what's happened here, but it doesn't really matter.
They're all 2 points, aren't they?
They're all 2 points.
Yeah, I go into the blue because I also think it isn't obstructed. Oh no, it's not obstructed anyway because I ignore the rock.
It's not obstructed because you are ignoring your own rock.
I roll 1 hit.
And I roll 2 evades. Captain Seer has nothing, and so the droids start firing into Django. So I believe it ends up being 2 range 1s and a range 2 into Django. I roll hit crit from the first one.
I roll 2 evades.
The second one rolls hit focus crit, and I spend a calculate for hit crit.
I roll 2 evades.
And the Iron Assembler fires a shell into Django. And I roll hit focus, and I spend both calculates for hit crit.
And I roll 1 evade. Yeah.
And then my range 0 shot rolls crit blank.
And I roll an evade. And then I notorious you because is it this? Yeah, a notorious green.
Yeah. And then I asked, did at any point you want to notorious any of those ships? And you're like, oh yeah, I'll notorious green.
It's the first time since February I've played, and I didn't have notorious on him.
Yeah, and so I guess now we just know that when you need to roll green dice, you just need to not be flying Imperials because holy Django.
Yeah, I know. Right. I like I was sitting there when he bumped. I was like, maybe I survive, but I think you half him at least. And
no.
Yeah, no, I'd argue that 4 shields was a reasonably lucky outcome.
That being said, I didn't get any blanks in my attack.
That's true.
Range 0, so it's not like I can complain. I was just like, ugh, like
hot reds.
I guess you know what's funny? I think I would have been okay with this if you'd rolled average and I'd rolled some more blanks. I'd be like, well, 4 damage is probably average, but because there was so many evades, it feels somehow worse.
Yeah.
Like, isn't that that's weird, isn't it? Because I had a bunch of single modded 3 dice shots. There were no blanks on any of my dice, and yet I'm annoyed that you've only took 4 shields, and I'm annoyed that you've rolled loads of evades. And I'm like, well, actually, if there had been 3 blanks on my dice and you'd had a couple of blanks, the same result has happened, but we're somehow happier.
But I do find that because when you have good reds, or you spend
Right.
you spend a target lock and a focus or whatever, and you end up with a good chunk of results, you feel like you've worked for it, especially when you've used your mods.
Yeah.
And like your energy shell, you roll 2 focuses, and to go from 1 hit 2 focuses to hit crit, it's like, yeah, I've used my upgrades I've put on, I've used my focus,
Yeah.
I've got the good results. Yes, it was lucky that there were no blanks in there, but I kind of worked for it. And then you roll all the evades.
Yeah,
It's more annoying when it's like, oh, unmodded against unmodded, and you still get average results. It's
But yeah, I think that's it. That's something we'd have to actually work out, like what is the average damage there? Because hilariously, I think Django. Essentially, what happened here is Django lucked out because you weren't in the bullseye of the 2 people who had attacks.
Because
they both have crack shot and captain.
Yeah, I thought I was in Brown's arc.
You're in arc, but not bullseye.
That's what. Yeah, that's what I meant. I thought I was in Brown's bullseye. So yeah, that is lucky.
Because. Yeah, if you're in Brown's bullseye, those 2 evades, crackshot, captain seer, that's 2 more damage.
Yeah,
which is kind of crazy. But like I said, it's just happenstance, and I think this comes back down to like dice statistics and like had we both rolled slightly less hot, I think a similar result would have happened, give or take, and we'd have somehow been happier. But here we were like, wow, I rolled really hot, and you were like, wow, yeah, I rolled really good. I was like, this is weird.
Interesting though, looking back at this, dialing in the 3 bank to the right, because I did not think that blue could do a 3 bank, because I thought certainly a 3 bank and a barrel roll, because I thought they were red. Yeah. If blue's not there, I clear and Scarper.
Yeah.
So
I think what this comes down to is a bit of a knowledge about the Coloridos, and they can do weird maneuvers. But what it comes down to, I think, simple fact is, it doesn't matter what move you do, going to the left is the correct play. I think no matter what you do with your fire spray, willingly walking into the jaws of a swarm is just the wrong play. It doesn't matter.
Well, that's the thing. I didn't think it would be willingly walking in, but. Because my hope was that I think a 3 bank here, and then say a boost to the left, gets me a front arc short on Grievous and a rear arc short on a droid.
Maybe it's hard to tell whether.
That was my thoughts during the planning process, and it's close enough actually that it's a mistake in the. I should have gone to the left, but it's not as much of a mistake as it could have been by just one straighting towards your droids or something.
Yeah, I mean. Honestly, by that same thing, it's probably a mistake of me to not barrel roll my droids. Because, like you said, had you gone to the left, like, yes, I'm sort of okay. That's what I was sort of expecting. And I was like, oh, maybe he doesn't get quite far enough, so I'll hedge. But had I just barrel rolled all of my swarm following blue, I end up lining bullseyes up. But also, like, I'm just in a much better position to just turn into the center.
I actually agree with that. And for another reason, if you'd barrel rolled all your droids to the left, and I too hard to the left, away, I'm much more inclined to not boost to get a better shot this round. But that makes my next turn getting round that debris much, much harder.
Yeah.
Well, if I boost away and then, come back round, maybe. But staying on that side means I don't have a hope of getting round it next turn.
Yeah.
So... Yeah.
Like I can't remember exactly what I was thinking back in this. I wonder if I was just like, I want to go. I don't want to get too far forward because I want to use shells. But I mean, like, actually, when it comes down to it, whether I'm shelling you or range wanting you,
less chance of a crit, but
it's not that much difference. And and I guess what I need to get is like you will be able to choose whether it's range 2 or range 1 no matter what, right? Because if it's range 2, you just like, well, I'll boost into range 1 and deny your shells, and it's like. This is good for neither of us.
It's an interesting thing. I'm trying to work out what I actually think I'd rather take the shells.
Yeah, I think depending on where you would end up, it's probably better to take the shells because if you go range 1 and you're in bullseye of 3 droids, then I'm like, fine, primary.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess I just primary shoot you with double crack shot.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Yeah, no, I think like harkening back to that, like. I need to stop hedging with the droid swarm. I just need to commit and accept the result.
Yeah, because
I should have because I thought you were going to the right, so I was like, well, I'll just hedge and maybe I catch you, maybe I don't, but then it's not too bad if I don't. But if I just committed to, he's turning into the center because it's Sean. Then if you don't, you have a range 2 shot into a droid. Fine. And I'm not shooting with the droid. Also, fine for the moment because your list is kind of scattered, and I can just finish off the bombardment drone. I probably eat a prox mine, but with vultures, that's just going to happen.
I actually wonder whether, looking at that, whether doing a fast straight might have been a better call.
I don't think so.
Not than 2 harding away, but then 3 banking in. Because, alright, I don't know exactly where I'm going to bump, but if I jumped over some of them...
Maybe I still think that it's just a risk, especially because the distance we were at, it's tricky.
Yeah.
I think after you had boosted into the center to get that shot, I think you either had to you needed to hard turn one way or another.
Yeah.
But we've spent a lot of time on this.
Yes,
so
we have.
So we should move on. Actually, well, to be fair, we spent a lot of time on this round. I think this is the round that
it's quite a critical round, isn't it?
It's a critical round. It's one where things actually matter because, spoiler alert, guys, this game spirals out of control very quickly, very rapidly.
I mean, you say that it only ends up 6-point difference at the
end. It ends up relatively close, but yeah.
We do both score a point.
Of a zone, and it's 3-1 to Sean as he's killed a droid.
And Sam is first player for this turn. I think we actually alternate quite a lot.
Yeah, we're alternating.
It's pretty even.
It almost doesn't matter. It's just Grievous and Grievous, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I don't think they overly fight each other after this, so it's...
No, they don't. So, I knew the proton bomb was coming from Django. It is too obvious.
But, while yes, it is too obvious, I also think it does...
Yeah, you still do it.
It limits your options, so...
Yeah, you absolutely still drop it.
Yeah.
Literally no reason not to. So I'm just hard turning to the left with the vulture droids with everyone because either Django is going through the center and I can shoot at him, or he's not and I can't shoot at him, but I can at least shoot the bombardment drone. So the Kilrodo, who took a bit of damage on the first round, he does a 2 hard to the left, lining up a shot onto the bombardment drone, takes a calculate. The 2 other Kilrodos, 1 hard to the left, and one of them barrel rolls to the left and focuses, and the other one just calculates, sitting happily in front of Django. The Iron Assembler rotates 90 degrees to the left. That lines him up a shot on the bombardment drone, and maybe Django if Django goes fast enough. I clear the stress, double calculate, but I am still strained. And then Captain Sear does I believe that is a 3 bank to the left along the bottom board edge, and I boost to the right and focus because I know Grievous. So what I want to do with Captain Sear really is turn to the right and just sort of meander up the edge of the board behind the vulture droids. But I also can't let Grievous just chase me down, so I actually bomb it straight at Grievous because Sean has to clear the rock in front of him, and so I'm trying to get in close enough to the rock that Grievous has to shoot a vulture droid.
Yeah.
Or at least doesn't get to shoot Captain Sear, and so we'll have a vulture droid shot no matter what I do.
So my mistake for this round, the bombardment drone stays where he is, double calculates, and I should have turned. Not because your blue droid specifically ended up there, but because they were all going to be turning down that way.
Yeah.
Because it's either that or you head towards a proton bomb. So I should have turned that way, because I've got a much better chance on the next turn of being in a position to drop a prox mine.
Yeah.
This turn, the only other thing I should have considered doing was a 2 straight. And yeah. I did think about that, but the reason I didn't is because of where Django's going in a minute.
Yeah, that's right.
So if I'm not coming off the rock, I should have turned. Because also, it means the next turn, it gives me better options for coming off the rock. It's not towards the whole of your swarm. And Sear, who can hard turn in behind him. And yeah. It's minor, but it's the things we're looking at.
It's these sorts of things that can matter. So my General Grievous does a 3 straight to clear the stress, and I boost to the right and focus because I'm just lining up 2 shots on the bombardment drone. Because if I can get him off the board, I'm pretty happy with that.
I 2-bank my Grievous through the rock because maybe a 1 hard to the right doesn't clear, but that puts Grievous out of the game. I mean, probably out of the game.
Probably out the
because
game.
he's facing the wrong way, well away, stressed. I've got 2 shields. It's worth taking the damage. Namely, because I also know that I'm going to be able to get outmaneuver shots on someone.
Yeah, exactly.
So I clear the stress, I clear the rock. I do take double damage. And we have a quick look at this, and I don't think I quite have Seer in Arc, and it's close. It's very, very close. But I don't. So I focus boost to get hopefully a range 1 shot into the strained Iron Assembler. Dirge does a 1 bank to the left to clear his stress. And I've really, 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 really wanted to get bullseye on Seer, and I think it's just out. Barrel roll would flip it too far the other side. I actually wonder whether focus into a barrel roll behind Grievous might have been the better call.
I thought you might try that at the time,
but I was looking.
I think a regular focus is also fine.
I was looking at range, and like there is a like the bullseye goes to green. So if I've got range, I've got that proton cannon. Maybe then I should have focus boosted, but that puts me range 1 of Seer, and I don't really want that. So, and then Django just does a 1 bank to clear his stress, and I believe I take a target lock onto Brown, which procs false transponders and gets rid of 1 of your calculates.
Yep. Because I kept one from the previous turn from Kraken.
Bomb doesn't catch anyone, but that's okay. We go to Django, who does a range 3 out the front into General Grievous, and I roll 1 crit.
And I roll 1 evade.
And then I veteran tail out the back, range 1 into Brown. I roll crit, hit, focus, blank. I spend the lock on the focus and the blank because I only have 1 force. And I roll hit blank, so 2 and a crit.
And I roll blank blank. So the Colorado is dead. I pass the calculate token he had over to the Colorado who is threatening your bombardment drone. And then it's Dirge.
And it's Dirge, who does have range to green, does not have range in the bullseye.
Yeah.
It's like, but I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, boost would have got it, but it would have been obstructed. I don't know. But I opt to just do the range 2 into Seer. I roll 1 hit.
I roll focus, and I spend the calculate that I've been holding with Kraken since turn 1 to convert that one.
Then it is your Grievous.
Yeah, so I have range 3 outmaneuver into the bombardment drone. I roll hit blank blank, and I reroll the 2 blanks into hit focus. Spend my focus for 3.
I roll 2 blanks.
So 3 damage on the bombardment drone.
And half points. Yeah. Grievous has a range 2, unfortunately, but range 2 outmaneuver strain shot into green, so no defense dice.
No defense dice, but I have a chance, and then you roll hit crit.
I roll hit crit. Yeah. The bombardment drone.
The downside of struts is it doesn't get rid of strains.
Yeah. I mean, that would be if it got rid of every red token. I think ditching stress every turn is still pretty good.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong, it is still good.
Bombardment drone has a range 3 into pink, so I take that. I roll blank blank.
Captain Seer has a range 2 back into Dirge. And he rolls hit focus, spends his focus for 3 hits.
I roll 2 blanks and forget to elucidate again.
Yeah, not gonna lie, the Belbelubs are really carrying the weight here. I believe this is range 1 into Django.
Yeah, you're right. Oh no, do you shell into the bombardment?
I don't think I shoot the bombardment. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, no, I've only got 2, so yeah, it must be.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, and I roll hit focus blank, and I reach for my calculate, and then you say, "What move did you do?"
Yes.
And I say, "I did a 1 hard to the left, which is white." And then you say, "Cool, Django."
Yep.
So I get 1 hit.
And I roll 1 of 8.
And you're not in bullseye, so no crack shot.
And then it's
which is very unfortunate, considering if anyone looking at YouTube sees the angle, it's a very unfortunate no crack shot angle there.
Yeah.
It looks like it, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it looks like it should be crack shot. Then I have my final vulture shooting range 1 into the bombardment drone. I roll hit blank blank.
Why am I rolling 3?
Because it's obstructed.
Because it's obstructed. Man, that must have been by the skin of its teeth.
Yeah.
And I get 1 evade. And we both score a point. And it's 8-5.
Yeah, Kraken. Yeah, 8-5.
So we go to turn 4, and it's me. And I drop a proton bomb with Django. And actually, I think I shouldn't have bothered this turn. Like, blue's going to be nowhere near it. It's too obvious for pink. I think I should have just kept it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. Like, if I misjudge and I bump into the back of Django.
Yeah.
But I don't. I do a 4 straight with my Kilrodos, and I land directly on the center, just in front of Django. And I barrel roll to the left, and I link it to a focus, because I don't trust myself. But I think I should have stayed where I was.
I'm very happy when you barrel rolled.
On the off chance Django does something slow. But I thought, well, he's dropped a bomb. He's probably not going slow. So let's try and get out of the way.
I was just happy because I know that Grievous was 1 harding. So, nice.
Yeah. Then my other Colorado does a 3 bank to the left. Because I was like, if he drops a Proxmine behind, I reckon if I do a 3 bank to the left, I'm going to slide through to the bombardment drone and not hit the rock. And he does, and I calculate, and I'm very happy with myself. Captain Sear does a 2 bank to the right into the center. It just takes a focus, because I'm not really sure where Django's going to end up. But if you end up in the middle of my ship somewhere, then I will take it.
So I do a 2 straight off the rock with the bombardment drone, because I was pretty sure if I just stay there, your General Grievous just strolls his way in, outmaneuvers, and plinks off those the last damage.
Yeah, that would be the hope.
And I'm still, I know the bubble up dial. I'm reasonably confident you've dialed in a 2 bank here.
Yeah, it's a pretty likely occurrence.
So I go for the barrel roll into a lock, just in the vain effort that it gets far enough to block you. I lock pink in the end. My Grievous does a 1 hard and stays stressed. I'm fine with that. He's sat right behind your pink droid.
Yep, and Captain's here. And I do a 2 bank to the right, and I land directly next to the bombardment drone, and I take a focus.
Dirge does a 3 bank, which bumps into Sear, and I do take the red focus. And then Django does a 2 hard to the left, which only bumps pink, and I take a red focus. The bomb gets nothing. And Django. Django goes range 1 into Captain Sear. At the front, I spend my focus after remembering I have it for a second, for 4 hits.
I roll a single evade, so shield damage onto Captain Sear.
That's half points.
Yep.
And then I veteran tail gunner out the back, range 2, I believe, into
my
blue.
Colorado.
I roll focus, crit, and spend the force.
I roll a single evade and get a panic pilot.
And don't give yourself the double stress?
I'm positive I do, because when I remove 1 later, there's still 1 left.
Oh, I didn't see it go down, but
I definitely clicked it twice.
It may have just literally buried on top of each other. I'll think of it in a minute. Dirge! There we go. Does the range 1 into pink. Rolls 3 hits.
I roll a single evade.
So that's half points on
2
pink.
damage onto the other Kelrodo.
So I have a choice here. Grievous. I
don't think this is a choice in the slightest.
But I could kill pink.
You could kill Sear. You've got range 1 outmaneuver into the back of Captain Sear. In what world is this not a shot?
Yeah. I do go into Sear.
The 4v1.
I roll hit, blank, focus. I re-roll for 1 hit.
And I roll a blank. And yes, okay, that would have killed my Kelrodo had you shot at it. But you should have done more to Captain Sear.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And that's 3 points in the bag. And you deny a shot. And so we go to my Grievous, and I have a moment of sadness.
Hello.
Because I have a range one out maneuver shots with a focus, rerolls into Django. Maybe I should have just taken it.
Yeah, it's a tough call, isn't it?
Because I also have a range one out maneuver shot into your bombardment drone, and if I kill it, then you don't get to kill either Captain Sear or the Kelrodo with your shot that you're going to take. And now I'm here. Maybe I do just shoot Django here.
Problem is, if you shoot Django... Well, no, yeah, this is the issue, actually, isn't it? You still have 2 shots into the droid.
Yeah, well, I probably one, because I reckon your bombardment drone kills either of them, right?
Maybe.
It has it. They've both got 1 health. They've both got defensive mods. There is a chance that you kill.
There's a chance. I'm unmodded though, so
yeah. Well, you've got a target lock on someone.
I've got a target lock on Pink. Actually, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you do just pump into Django, but I don't blame you for going into the bombardment drone.
Anyhow, I roll hit, focus. I think I roll hit, focus, blank. I roll the 2 blanks into another focus. Spend the focus for 3.
I roll an evade, but I die.
Yeah. And then, like, because these Captains here with no shot, and then I just have a range 0 into Django. But I don't know. Anyway, I rolled 2 hits because, of course, I do.
I roll 2 blanks, and then I notorious you. But that is half on Django.
Yeah.
So we both score a point.
Would it not have been better if Django had been on 1 right now?
Yeah. It's 13-12.
Yeah, it's 13-12, so it's close, but Captain Sear's on 1, the Kilrodo's on 1, Grievous is untouched, but you don't need to kill Grievous. You don't need to do anything to Grievous, in fact. I have 2 1-health Vulture droids and a 1-health 5-point ship.
Yeah.
3, 4, 5. You get 5 just for doing 1 damage to 3 of my ships.
But what I really, really, really want to do with Django right now is drop a proton bomb.
Yeah, no, that would be pretty juicy right about now.
But hey.
So, in the Fit of Ultimate Sadness, one of my Kelrodos, I try to 2-bank to the left past my Captain Sear, but it doesn't work out, and I bump into him and I take a damage, so the Kelrodo dies.
That's 1 less ship I need to kill.
The other one does a 2-bank, and I say clear of stress and double calculate, and they say, wait, weren't you panic pilot? And I was like, yes, I was. The stress is still there, so it's all good. And I don't take the calculator away. All right, I don't think it matters in the end.
Oh yeah,
do
fair.
we just leave them there?
Fair,
wow.
Fair.
I thought I
thought you still had one because you had Kraken.
I must have forgotten that I'd clicked it because I was just quickly going through it.
It's fine.
We know it doesn't matter. I think that's the other thing, isn't it?
So your Captain Sear, I believe, does like a 5 straight.
My Captain Sear does a 5 straight boost to the left and focus because my shot in this game is my Grievous somehow gets the like money shots into your list, and Captain Sear just needs to get out.
And then your Grievous, because you're first player,
does a 3 sloop to the right over the center because I'm trying to catch anyone who's going after Sear.
My Grievous does a 2 straight because I wasn't sure looking at the angle whether it slides past Dirge, and actually in hindsight looking at that now there's plenty of space, but I was like maybe a 2 straight leaves me far enough back on the angle that if it would be inside. I could have got away with a 3. I believe I focus and stay where I am. I 1-bank with Dirge, and I focus into a barrel roll to line up some bullseyes. And then Django 3-banks out of there and stays stressed. He's like, I'm just going to poodle around and collect points now. So I have I think range 2 obstructed onto Grievous, or a range 3 onto Blue, and I opt for, I believe, the range 3 onto Blue. I roll 1 hit. And Sam rolls 1 evade. Have I lost Sam? No, he's gone very silent. No, we'll keep talking until he comes back online. Never mind. I've got a proton cannon into Captain Sear. It is obstructed. I am an hour about it because I also have a range 1 shot onto the blue droid. But yeah, actually they're both on 1 health. It's 4 on 4 for the proton cannon, but I've got the focus. I've got the focus to crit with the cannon, and
I'm back.
He's back. And although it's obstructed, Seer can't spend its focus because dead to rights. So I do the proton cannon. I roll 1 hit and 3 focuses, so I spend for 3 hits and a crit.
I roll 2 evades out of the 4 I needed.
I
take hit, crit.
That's about odds, isn't it?
That's about odds. And the crit isn't even one I can impervium. It's like a stun pilot or something for the ultimate sadness.
Yes, it was a blinded pilot.
Yeah. So my Grievous has a range 2 outmaneuver shot into your dirge. And I roll hit, focus blank, reroll the focus blank into another hit, so just 2.
I roll 1 of 8, so I take 1. My Grievous has a range 2 shot into blue. Is outmaneuvered. I roll crit focus and spend for the 3.
I roll a focus, spend a calculate for an evade, and I take 2 crits and die. And so it's 18-12. We tick up a point for the round. It's 19-13, and I'll be honest, I'd kind of given up at this point.
I mean, you can kill either of my ships. In fact, you could kill any one of my ships, and so long as I score a point,
yeah,
I'm fine.
Yeah. So I was like.
And I mean,
I basically was like, let's see where the fates take me, and I 2-banked to the left to focus and be like, if you're in my arc, I'll shoot you.
I mean, like, Django just 1 half to the left goes,
yeah,
there's no physical way Grievous can shoot me from there. And so 1 half to the left, and I'm range 2 of the objective. And then we'll just play with Grievous. I am first player. And unsurprisingly, I thought you'd 2-bank because I'm pretty sure a straight might just clip that arc.
I reckon a 3 straight might have fit, but either way, at this point, I wasn't thinking about what is my most optimal move. I was like, screw it, let's just set this dial and we'll see what happens. Fair. He probably can't kill me. I'm going to lose no matter what.
I 1 hard, focus into a barrel roll to cut inside.
I do a 2-bank and barrel roll, 2-bank and focus.
Dirge does a 1-bank and then boosts out of arc, and Django does his 1 hard. So the only shot is my Grievous. Who's not going to kill. He ends up with 4 results.
I roll a blank and I re-roll it with Solus 1 into a focus, then spend my focus 4 and evade, and I take 3 damage. So it's not quite half on Grievous.
And 2014.
2014. Yeah. So that was an interesting game, but what I felt, at least what I felt about halfway through was like, I actually don't like this incarnation of the list.
No, I agree.
Not because any part of it is bad, because Captain Seer and 5 droids and Grievous is good, but like the way I was feeling is like, if I'm doing the whole droid thing, I think I need to commit to it. Like in this list, if Captain Seer is Cad Bane, for example, I feel like the list does better because the vultures can do their thing because they're not even sharing anymore. Like they're all having their own ways of getting tokens. None of them can share. And so the critical mass of tokens isn't going to get there and doesn't matter. So Captain Seer may as well be someone who can, like, win fights. Like, if it was Chertek, even Chertek, I think, would have done fine. Because I think if you're going to go Captain Seer, I think you need to commit to, like, I need as many bullseyes that can be useful as possible.
You need Seer and 7 other...
Yeah.
Bullseye gaining.
I reckon you need Seer and 6 other things that require bullseye, like that can reliably do the bullseye with calculates.
Yeah.
And then so like, if I think this list ironically might be better if Grievous is a ship that can trigger Captain Seer, because Grievous can't, and that's not anything against Grievous. I just think he doesn't fit in this list. Like if I'm taking Captain Seer, everyone else needs to be able to use his ability, or I don't take Captain Seer because he's like a list defining ship.
Yeah. So my first thought was, well, put attack relay on Grievous that can calculate.
Can't,
but because he doesn't have attack slot.
Doesn't have attack slot, and also you're going to bring 1 attack relay.
Oh yeah, of course you've got Kraken, haven't you? And I was like, and also, why would you on Grievous? Like, when you've got outmaneuver and Pervium Solus 1, right?
Now, admittedly, I do acknowledge that how much of my opinion is coloured by the fact that I lost.
But thing is, though, I agree with you. it almost feels like you've taken a list and then you've gone, I need to change something up, and you've taken something that's done well in other lists and just smushed it in rather than looking for the synergy within the list. Yeah, I'd argue like you need someone. I'd argue a tri-fighter would be better because if you want that AC threat, that flank, cool, that works within it. That's always good. But having something that can calculate,
Well,
actually, a tri-fighter might not be a bad shout.
You know who I was looking at? The rogues.
The rogue, yeah.
I was looking at the Magna Guard protectors.
Yeah.
Because you know what the Magna Guard protectors also have? A missile slot.
Nice. Shells. Nice.
And then all of a sudden, Captain Seer is a not so juicy target because you've got the guarded rule.
Yeah.
Suddenly, Captain Seer is a 3-dice ship.
No, see, that's interesting, and that might be worth a look at.
But it may be worth a look at. But
are they 5? Are they the 5 or the 4-point ones?
They're 5 points.
So
they have. But the thing is, they're basically General Grievous without the no, they're not basically General Grievous, but they have double cannon, a missile, and a mod slot with 18 points. They can take a bunch of stuff. But I think I hilariously, I think it would fit into this list better than General Grievous does.
No, I think you'd be right.
Another source to get, because I think this list works when you have a mass of calculates.
I still think look at the tri-fighter.
Yeah. I mean, where I'm currently at is I take Grievous back out and I just swap the DBS-32C, the bomber that isn't really working, swap it for a different bomber that does work.
Yeah. That would work.
But, I mean, your list it works. I don't know. It's the good stuff of Separatists, right?
Exactly. That's why I took it to STO. But what I did was I took it to STO and I swapped a lot of the good upgrades for upgrades that I like rather than are necessarily good.
Yeah, no, I can see that. I see that you've gone proton bombs elusive on Dirge. I still fancy the Bo-Katan.
Maybe.
Range 1 reroll, range 0 to 1 rerolls are powerful.
Yeah. How many points is she? Do you know?
6. It's literally the exact swap, basically.
For what?
I don't think either is better. I think it's which one do you want to play with?
Yeah. You know what I think you should do?
What?
I think you should swap out Grievous for a Coruscant Flak. And then
that's an interesting one.
And then upgrade one of the other ships. Because if you've got that bullseye for that crack shot, you're literally gaining the calculate to spend for Seer's ability.
You're gaining the calculate to spend for Seer's ability. That is pretty true.
So you're literally gaining that calculate. And if you I don't know, maybe independent calculates.
Oh yeah, no. If I was going, the only reason I took independent calculates in this list was I realized actually only those two can share, so they may as well just have their own stack of 2.
But if you had a flak and you upgraded one of the Coreldo AIs to a 3-point that's got network, then suddenly you've got 4 ships that can do it.
Yeah.
You've got an I5 threat. You can't ignore a flak.
Yeah, and they're good. They are just good ships.
And yeah, you've got that built-in calculate gaining, basically, so...
Yeah, you're right. Let's see, what does this look like?
But yeah, interesting.
7 ships.
Well, I don't think that's bad.
Yeah. Anyway, my list meandering aside. But I think where I'm currently set at, I'm going to try replacing the bomber with a different bomber. Because I think, as much as I love 32C, and he's really useful, he has plasma torps, he has jam shenanigans, I actually think I'm just swapping it for a straight Bactoid prototype.
Yeah.
Because they have 9 loadout points, 2 missile slots, and a mod slot. And those are the things that matter. And I just think, oh, well, slap energy shells and thread tracers on this guy. Now all of a sudden I have most of the list is I1, and that's a price I'm willing to pay. But it's a lot easier to maneuver around. I'm not worrying about the I-3 bomber being in various places. Captain Sear always moves last in my list, which is nice. And then I have the option of, if I have a good engage, the Bactoid can be like, okay, well, I'll fire my thread tracers at the guy I want to kill. And if he misses, well, then the shell would have missed as well.
Yeah.
But if he hits, then all of a sudden there are, let's say, 4 to 5 vulture droids, because by the time I get to shoot, I've probably lost one. 4 to 5 vulture droids firing double motor shells is something that, like, I don't think anyone can actually ignore that, right? Like, maybe Boy Hand through a rock.
And let's be fair. The bomber, you're not going to one-shot it. It's going to take a reasonable investment on your opponent's behalf. Like, the only reason I managed to do all right in this match was I managed to pop a droid, then pop a droid, then pop a droid, like, with single shots. Which freed me up to shoot other people. And odds, I'd say, are probably at least 3 good shots, probably, for a bombardment. Average maybe 4, depending on dice.
Literally, look at this game. I shot your bombardment drone 3 times.
Yeah, exactly.
With three good shots, like, double calculate from the Vulture droid, 2 outmaneuver shots from Grievous.
Yeah.
Like, 5 health behind 2 dice. Like, it goes longer than people expect.
Yeah. And I think I prefer 5 health behind 2 dice than 3 health behind 3 dice.
Yeah.
Because it's the same as the Vultures. You have that ability to just pop. Now, if I could take a 2-point TIE fighter with some missiles, then we'd be talking. Then we'd be talking. I'm looking at all your 2-point droids there with missiles.
Yep.
And rock landing.
But you know what? At least you get 3-point I5 TIE fighters that roll 3 dice on attack.
Pseudo 3 dice.
I mean, they're usually 3 dice. Let's be real.
That's fair.
Like, if they're not 3 dice, it's usually because the player has messed up, right?
Yeah. Well, who knows? Whenever this expected points update comes, so obviously events-wise, I'm going up to Curtin in a couple of weeks on the 27th, which you're not going to, I believe.
No, I am not going to.
And then we've both got the Welsh Open at the end of June.
Yeah.
Like, maybe points drop before Curtin, maybe not. I realistically think they probably drop before June, the end of June. So let's see how either of our lists get through, or any of the lists we're flying at the moment. But yeah, be interesting. Must remember elusive. Elusive. And I might try Bo-Katan. I might have a look.
I was just going to say, if you don't remember elusive, that's fine. Put in Bo-Katan instead of the proton bombs and elusive, because you'll remember those attacking mods. It's the defensive mods you don't remember.
Yeah.
And, attacking feels good.
To be fair, if Dirge dies, Dirge has a reasonable chance of not dying.
Well, exactly. Well, like the elusive is just nice. I think the real choice you're making is: do you want bombs or attacking mod at range 0?
Yeah. Now, admittedly, in this game, no one chased Dirge, so it was irrelevant. But
that's not every game.
I say that's not a bad thing if they're not chasing you. Yeah. Fine. So, it's Dirge's ability. Is it a replacement? Is it if you would?
Yes, it is.
When you would. So, if you were carrying a crate, you wouldn't drop the crate.
No, unless you suffered a crit on the way in.
Yeah. Because you're still suffering it, and then you.
Yeah.
Well,
you still suffer the crit.
Yeah, and then you would be destroyed. But yeah. Interesting. Right. Well, on that note, we'd better wrap it up for this week. Thanks everybody for listening, as always.
Yeah, and so I experimented with a 7-ship list. Back to 8 it is.
Yeah, we will. Hopefully, we'll be back with a Club Night game next week. Until then, I'll just say goodbye.
Yeah, and ta-ta from me.